To most people, they look almost identical. Long bodies, powerful jaws, eyes and nostrils perched above the waterline, watching, waiting. For centuries, even trained naturalists struggled to clearly separate them. Early European explorers arriving in the swamps of Florida and the rivers of Africa often used the words crocodile and alligator interchangeably, with no understanding that they were describing two fundamentally different branches of the reptile world. Even today, millions of people still cannot tell a crocodile from an alligator at a glance, and the confusion is understandable because evolution rarely produces two body plans this similar from two genuinely separate lineages. And yet, these two reptiles are separated by over 80 million years of independent evolution. They belong to different families. They live on different continents, in different types of water, under different climates. They hunt differently. They react to threats differently. Their jaws are engineered for different purposes, and one of them is, without question, significantly more dangerous to a human being than the other. Today we are going to settle this once and for all. The crocodile, the alligator, same ancient order, same general shape, but completely different animals, shaped by completely different evolutionary pressures. Both crocodiles and alligators belong to the order Crocodilia, an ancient lineage of reptiles that has remained remarkably unchanged in its basic body plan for tens of millions of years, surviving the mass extinction event that wiped out the non-avian dinosaurs. This order also includes caimans and the gharial, making four distinct branches of the same ancient family tree, all sharing the same basic blueprint: an elongated body, a muscular tail, armored skin, and a jaw built for ambush predation. Crocodiles and alligators split from a common ancestor an estimated 80 to 90 million years ago, meaning these two animal groups were already evolving along separate paths while the last dinosaurs still walked the earth. From that point forward, geographic isolation, climate, and prey availability shaped each lineage in different directions. True crocodiles belong to the family Crocodilidae, which today comprises around 16 recognized species found across Africa, Asia, the Americas, and Australia. The most well-known include the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile on Earth, the Nile crocodile, infamous for its role in African river ecosystems, and the American crocodile, found in parts of Florida, Mexico, Central America, and northern South America. Other notable species include the Cuban crocodile, known for its unusually intelligent and aggressive behavior, and the critically endangered Philippine crocodile. Alligators, in stark contrast, belong to a much smaller family, Alligatoridae, which contains only two true alligator species on the entire planet: the American alligator and the critically endangered Chinese alligator. The caimans of Central and South America, including the spectacled caiman and the massive black caiman, are close relatives within the same broader family Alligatoridae, but they are classified separately and are not considered true alligators. This distinction matters enormously because it explains one of the most striking and counterintuitive facts about these animals. While crocodiles are found on nearly every continent with a sufficiently warm climate, alligators exist naturally in only two places on the entire planet: the southeastern United States and a small fragmented region of eastern China along the Yangtze River. This is one of the most unusual and restricted distribution patterns of any major reptile group, and it raises a fascinating question we'll return to later. Why did one lineage spread across the globe, while its closest relative remained confined to two tiny disconnected pockets of habitat thousands of kilometers apart? The most reliable way to distinguish a crocodile from an alligator has nothing to do with size, color, or location. It is the shape of the snout. Alligators possess a broad, rounded U-shaped snout when viewed from above. This shape is not accidental. It is a precise structural adaptation that distributes bite force across a wider surface area, making it significantly more efficient for crushing the hard shells of turtles and other armored prey, which form a meaningful part of the alligator's natural diet. The broader snout also houses a slightly different arrangement of jaw muscles, optimized for raw crushing power over a wide bite radius. Crocodiles, in contrast, have a longer, narrower, V-shaped or tapered snout. This more streamlined shape is generally better suited for a varied diet that includes large amounts of fish, making it easier to snap quickly and accurately through water with reduced resistance, essential when speed and precision matter more than crushing force. The teeth tell an equally clear and immediately visible story. When an alligator closes its mouth, the upper jaw is noticeably wider than the lower jaw, so the teeth of the lower jaw fit neatly into a series of sockets along the inside of the upper jaw and are almost completely hidden from view. Only the upper row of teeth remains visible along the closed jawline, giving the alligator's resting face a relatively smooth, closed appearance. A crocodile's upper and lower jaws, by comparison, are roughly the same width. This means that when a crocodile closes its mouth, the fourth tooth on the lower jaw, and frequently several others along the jawline, remains visible, jutting upward and interlocking outside the closed upper jaw. This single visible tooth, often nicknamed the crocodile smile by wildlife guides and naturalists, is one of the single fastest and most reliable ways to identify a crocodile at a glance, even from a photograph or a brief glimpse at a distance. Coloration also differs between the two groups, though this indicator is considerably less reliable since it varies significantly by individual species, age, and habitat. Alligators tend to be darker overall, often appearing nearly black in deep water, with a gray-black coloration that provides excellent camouflage in the tannin-stained, vegetation-choked freshwater swamps they typically inhabit. Crocodiles tend to be lighter, olive green, tan, or light brown, a coloration generally better suited to the sandier riverbanks, brackish estuaries, and sun-bleached coastal environments many crocodile species call home. In terms of raw size, the picture varies enormously depending on species, and this is where popular assumptions often go wrong. The American alligator, the species most people picture when they imagine an alligator, reaches lengths of 3.4 to 4.4 meters in adult males, with exceptional individuals occasionally exceeding 4.5 meters and weight surpassing 450 kilograms. This is already a formidable animal by any measure. But the crocodile family includes the single largest reptile species alive on Earth today, the saltwater crocodile, with adult males regularly reaching 5 to 6 meters in length and weighing well over 1,000 kilograms. The largest verified saltwater crocodile in modern record-keeping, a massive individual named Lo Long, captured in the Philippines, measured an astonishing 6.17 meters in length. At the other end of the crocodile size spectrum, smaller species like the dwarf crocodile of West Africa rarely exceed 1.5 meters, proving that crocodile as a category spans an enormous range of sizes, far wider than the alligator family. So while alligators as a group are not dramatically smaller than crocodiles on average, the largest crocodile species absolutely dwarfs the largest alligator species, making blanket statements like crocodiles are bigger than alligators technically true at the extremes, but misleading as a general rule across all species in both families. Perhaps the single most fundamental biological difference between these two reptiles lies in where and how they are physically capable of living. Alligators are almost exclusively freshwater animals. They inhabit swamps, marshes, slow-moving rivers, and freshwater lakes, with the Everglades of Florida representing the single most iconic and extensively studied alligator habitat on the planet. Critically, alligators lack functioning salt glands capable of efficiently excreting excess salt from their bloodstream, which means prolonged exposure to salt water is genuinely harmful to them, leading to dehydration and physiological stress over time. This single, seemingly small physiological limitation explains almost everything about where alligators can and cannot survive on a continental scale. Crocodiles, particularly species like the saltwater crocodile and the American crocodile, possess specialized lingual salt glands located on their tongues that allow them to actively excrete excess salt directly from their bodies. This single adaptation gives crocodiles access to an entire category of habitat completely closed off to alligators: tidal estuaries, dense mangrove swamps, brackish coastal lagoons, and even the open ocean itself. Saltwater crocodiles have been documented swimming hundreds of kilometers out to sea, using ocean currents to island hop across vast stretches of the Indo-Pacific region, a behavior entirely unknown and physiologically impossible for any alligator species. This single biological difference, the presence or absence of functioning salt glands, is arguably the most important evolutionary divergence between the two groups, and it single-handedly explains their dramatically different global distributions. It is also, many scientists believe, the key reason crocodiles were able to spread across multiple continents via ocean dispersal over millions of years, while alligators remained confined to the freshwater systems where their ancestors first evolved. In the United States, this creates a unique and scientifically fascinating natural laboratory. Southern Florida is the only place on Earth where American alligators and American crocodiles coexist within overlapping geographic ranges. Alligators dominate the freshwater interior of the Everglades, while crocodiles are found primarily in the brackish coastal mangroves of the southern tip of the state, particularly around Florida Bay and the Florida Keys, providing wildlife researchers and curious visitors alike with a clear, real-world demonstration of their differing salt tolerance, often within just a few kilometers of each other. Beyond Florida, crocodile habitat spans an extraordinary range of environments. Nile crocodiles inhabit rivers, lakes, and swamps across most of sub-Saharan Africa. Saltwater crocodiles range from eastern India through Southeast Asia to northern Australia and the western Pacific Islands. Meanwhile, alligator habitat remains startlingly limited, confined to the warm, humid wetlands of the American South and a small, heavily protected stretch of the lower Yangtze River basin in China, where the Chinese alligator now survives in numbers so low that conservationists consider it one of the most endangered crocodilians on the planet. This is where the differences between crocodiles and alligators become most directly relevant to human safety, and the available data here is genuinely unambiguous. Crocodiles, as a group, are considerably more aggressive and statistically far more likely to view humans as potential prey. The Nile crocodile and the saltwater crocodile are responsible for the vast majority of fatal crocodilian attacks on humans recorded worldwide each year. Conservative estimates suggest these two species alone may be involved in several hundred attacks annually across Africa, parts of South and Southeast Asia, and Northern Australia, with a significant proportion of these incidents proving fatal, making them, by most measures, the most dangerous large reptiles to humans on the planet. Saltwater crocodiles in particular are notorious ambush predators capable of explosive bursts of speed and power from total concealment, launching attacks that can drag prey many times their expected size beneath the surface within seconds. They are known to actively patrol territory along riverbanks and coastlines, and will treat virtually any animal that enters their domain, including, unfortunately, humans engaged in fishing, swimming, or simply collecting water, as potential prey. Wildlife authorities in northern Australia post extensive warning signage along waterways specifically because of this consistent, well-documented predatory behavior toward people. Alligators, while absolutely capable of seriously injuring or killing a human under the right circumstances, are statistically far less dangerous as a species overall. American alligator attacks resulting in human fatalities remain genuinely rare. Typically, only a small handful of confirmed deaths occur across the entire United States per decade, despite literally millions of people living, working, fishing, and recreating in close proximity to alligator habitat throughout Florida, Louisiana, and the broader southeastern United States. Alligators generally exhibit more reserved, cautious behavior toward humans and are statistically more likely to retreat into water than to engage, except in specific circumstances: when defending an active nest, when cornered or directly provoked, or, most dangerously, when they have become habituated to human feeding, an illegal practice in most jurisdictions precisely because it dramatically increases the risk of future attacks by teaching alligators to associate humans with food. This difference in baseline temperament has even been documented experimentally by behavioral researchers. Studies comparing crocodilian responses to simulated prey movement have found that crocodile species tend to show more pronounced immediate predatory responses, while alligator species tend to show comparatively more cautious, defensive, wait and assess responses when approached by something unfamiliar, a behavioral pattern consistent with their lower rate of unprovoked attacks on humans in the wild. It is worth noting, however, that important exceptions exist on both sides of this generalization. The American crocodile, despite technically belonging to the more aggressive crocodile family, is generally considered shy, reclusive, and largely non-aggressive toward humans, with very few recorded attacks despite decades of close cohabitation with people in South Florida. This illustrates an important scientific point. Species-level behavior can vary considerably even within each broader family group, and broad statements about crocodiles or alligators as monolithic categories always come with caveats. Both crocodiles and alligators are patient ambush predators, relying overwhelmingly on stealth, camouflage, and short, explosive bursts of speed rather than prolonged pursuit. A hunting strategy that has remained essentially unchanged for tens of millions of years because it simply works. The alligator's broad, powerful jaw is exceptionally well suited to its remarkably varied diet, which includes fish, turtles, wading birds, small to medium-sized mammals, and even other reptiles, including smaller alligators in cases of cannibalism during food scarcity. The measured bite force of a large adult American alligator has been recorded at approximately 2,125 pounds per square inch in laboratory testing, among the strongest bite forces ever scientifically measured in any living animal, rivaling and in some studies exceeding the bite force of large crocodile species. However, in a detail that surprises most people, the muscles responsible for opening a crocodilian's jaw are remarkably weak compared to the muscles that close it. A fully grown alligator's mouth can typically be held shut by a single trained handler using just their hands, which is precisely why captured alligators in the wild are commonly and safely restrained using simple tape or rubber bands wrapped around the snout during research and relocation efforts. Crocodiles employ a broadly similar bite and hold ambush strategy, but the larger crocodile species are capable of successfully taking considerably larger and more dangerous prey than any alligator regularly attempts. Nile crocodiles famously and regularly take down wildebeest, zebra, and even young hippopotamus during the dramatic seasonal river crossings of the African wildebeest migration, footage that has become a staple of nature documentaries worldwide. Saltwater crocodiles, occupying the very top of their ecosystem's food chain, have been documented preying on water buffalo weighing well over 500 kilograms, and in genuinely rare but confirmed instances, even attacking and killing sharks that venture too close to shore. Both crocodiles and alligators use the characteristic and unmistakable death roll, a hunting and feeding technique in which the animal grips prey firmly in its jaws and then rapidly spins its entire body along its long axis underwater, using the rotational force to tear off manageable, swallowable pieces of flesh from prey too large to consume whole. This technique is made possible by their dense, powerfully muscled tails and an extraordinary degree of core body rotation, and it remains one of the most violent and visually striking feeding behaviors in the entire animal kingdom. Both species exhibit broadly similar reproductive strategies, laying clutches of eggs in carefully constructed nests, with females showing a remarkable degree of sustained maternal investment, a trait genuinely unusual among reptiles, the vast majority of which abandon their eggs entirely after laying them. Alligators typically build large mound nests, constructed from gathered vegetation, mud, and decaying plant matter, which generates significant heat through natural decomposition to help incubate the buried eggs over a roughly 65-day incubation period. American alligators lay anywhere from 20 to 50 eggs per clutch, and remarkably, the temperature inside the nest during a critical window of incubation determines the biological sex of the offspring, a phenomenon known as temperature-dependent sex determination, a trait shared with crocodiles and many other reptile species, but rarely understood by the general public. Crocodiles use a somewhat wider variety of nesting strategies depending on the specific species involved. Some, like certain caiman relatives, build mound nests broadly similar to alligators, while others, most notably the Nile crocodile, instead dig deep hole nests directly into sandy riverbanks, relying on the sun-warmed sand itself to provide incubation heat rather than decomposing vegetation. Female crocodiles, much like alligators, guard their nests fiercely against predators for the entire incubation period, and in many species will gently assist newly hatched young by carefully carrying them in their mouths from the nest site directly to the safety of open water, one of the single most striking and frequently photographed examples of dedicated parental care found anywhere in the reptile world. Lifespan is broadly comparable between the two groups, reflecting their shared evolutionary heritage as slow-growing, long-lived apex predators. American alligators typically live 35 to 50 years in the wild under natural conditions, with some well-documented individuals in zoological captivity exceeding 70 years of age. Crocodile lifespans vary somewhat by individual species, but generally fall within a similar broad range, with some of the larger long-lived species, particularly saltwater crocodiles, potentially reaching 70 years or considerably more in exceptional cases, making both groups among the longest-lived reptiles on the entire planet. So, after everything we've explored, what is the real complete difference between a crocodile and an alligator? The most immediately visible answer lies in the snout, broad and U-shaped for the alligator, narrow and V-shaped for the crocodile, with that single unmistakable visible tooth marking the crocodile's distinctive evolutionary signature whenever its mouth is closed. But beneath that simple, visible difference lies something far more fundamental and far more interesting. 80 million years of completely separate evolution, a single critical physiological adaptation involving microscopic salt glands that quietly opened entire oceans and continents to the crocodile, while permanently confining the alligator to isolated pockets of fresh water, and measurable behavioral differences that, in the case of certain crocodile species, place them firmly among the most dangerous large predators on the entire planet. These are not simply two regional versions of the same basic animal, as casual observers often assume. They are two genuinely distinct evolutionary solutions to an ancient and remarkably successful body plan. A body plan so effective, so perfectly refined by natural selection, that it has barely needed to change since long before the asteroid impact that ended the age of the dinosaurs. The next time you encounter one of these extraordinary animals, in a quiet swamp, a tidal estuary, a nature documentary, or behind the protective glass of an aquarium exhibit, look closely at the snout, count whichever teeth remain visible along the closed jawline, and you will know with genuine scientific certainty exactly what ancient lineage you are looking at. Thank you for watching.